fighters who dominate modern combat sports do not train like the men in your gym. They don't chase impressive lifts. They don't follow split routines. 5 specific bodyweight exercises form the core of how they actually built that strength. That region is Dagestan, a republic of just over 3 million people that has produced more dominant fighters per capita than anywhere on earth. 3 UFC champions in the last decade. A wrestling pipeline that supplies the Russian Olympic team. And the foundation of every one of those careers is the same handful of movements, trained from childhood, practiced for thousands of hours before any of these athletes ever touched a barbell. The strange part is that these exercises produce a kind of strength that holds up against training partners significantly heavier, the kind of practical control that lifters with bigger numbers cannot replicate. 5 movements. None of them require a gym. Start with the exercise that defines the entire system. Every fighter from Dagestan does it. Khabib Nurmagomedov made neck strength a signature of his game. Islam Makhachev does the same drills today. It is called the wrestler's bridge. Here is what it does. The neck, the spine, and the entire posterior chain are forced to work as a single unit. In a wrestling match, the head is constantly under attack, pulled, controlled, driven into the mat. A weak neck is a finished fighter. The bridge turns that vulnerability into a weapon. Here is how to perform it. Lie flat on the back. Place a folded towel or a flat pillow under the head to start. Bring the feet close to the hips. Place the hands on the mat beside the head, palms down, fingers pointing toward the shoulders. Press through the feet and hands together to lift the hips and slowly transfer weight onto the head and the soles of the feet. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. This is the safe entry point. The hands stay on the ground for the first several weeks. Only after the neck has built real strength should they cross over the chest. The most common mistake is rushing this. The neck is not strong enough on the first session. Start with the pillow. Stay short. Stay controlled. Once the hand-supported hold becomes easy, progress in stages. First remove the hands, then remove the pillow, then begin rocking. Rocking means slowly tilting forward toward the forehead and back toward the crown. This is how Dagestani wrestlers build active neck strength, not just isometric strength. The movement is what turns the bridge into a wrestling tool. Prescription: 3 to 5 holds of 20 to 30 seconds, 3 times per week. Progress through the stages above as strength builds. Beyond the neck, the bridge trains the lower back, hamstrings, glutes, and trapezius muscles to fire together under load, while the spine is in extension. That is the exact pattern that wins a scramble. Wrestling at the highest level is a war of grip. Hand fighting, sleeve control, wrist control, neck ties. The fighter who can hold longer dictates everything. Every Dagestani coach drills this rule into beginners. Lose the grip, lose the match. The simplest way to build that grip without leaving the house is the towel pull-up. Here is how to perform it. Take a standard pull-up bar. Drape a thick towel over it. Grip the towel with both hands. One hand on each side, the towel hanging in the middle. Now perform pull-ups. The towel forces the fingers, forearms, and wrist to compress hard, the same way they would when controlling an opponent's wrist. Prescription: 2 to 3 sets of maximum reps, 2 to 3 times per week. As grip improves, switch to 1 towel per hand, then progress towards single arm assisted variations over months. The same strength that locks a hand around a wrist for 20 minutes is the strength that carries heavy loads at 60 years old. The transfer goes both ways. The next exercise looks unusual the first time it is seen. It shares roots with the broader Eurasian wrestling tradition and has been a fixture of Dagestani pressing work for generations. It is called the Hindu push-up. A standard push-up moves in one direction. The body goes up and down on a straight line. The Hindu push-up does something different. It flows. Here is the movement. Start in a downward dog position. Feet flat, hips high, hands forward, the body forming an inverted V. Now dive forward, scooping the chest toward the floor between the hands. As the chest comes through, drive the hips down and the chest up into a cobra position. Arms extended, chest open. Then reverse the motion back to the starting V. 1 repetition is 1 full cycle. This trains the shoulders, chest, triceps, and core through their full range, while building hip mobility and spinal extension at the same time. It is the closest a bodyweight exercise comes to the actual motion of pressing, scrambling, and recovering posture in a wrestling exchange. Every muscle works together. Nothing is isolated. Prescription: 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps, 3 times per week. Progress by adding reps before adding speed. These 3 exercises alone build more usable strength than most gym routines deliver in months. They are also exactly the kind of bodyweight foundation the No Gym Warrior program is built on. 12 weeks of progressive bodyweight training, 3 phases, more than 50 exercises, designed to produce the kind of real-world strength the Dagestanis have spent generations proving works. No equipment, no gym, no shortcuts. The link is in the description. Now move to the strength that controls another human body, the kind of strength that lets a wrestler dominate a training partner heavier than himself. It is called the bear hug squat. Here is how to perform it. Find a sandbag, a heavy duffel filled with sand, or any awkward load that can be wrapped in both arms. Pull it tight against the chest, hugging it the way a wrestler hugs an opponent in the clinch. Now squat, full depth, hips below the knee. Stand back up, repeat. The key is the grip on the load. It cannot drift, it cannot slip. The arms, chest, and upper back must hold it locked against the body while the legs do the work. This is exactly what wrestling control feels like. Squeezing something heavy that does not want to be squeezed, while still moving with it. Prescription: 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps, 2 to 3 times per week. Increase the weight of the load as the form holds. A standard barbell back squat builds leg strength in isolation. A bear hug squat builds the same leg strength while teaching the upper body to crush a load it cannot drop. That combination is what separates a wrestler from a lifter. End with the simplest movement which produces the most brutal result. Dagestani wrestlers do not just train heavy, they train high. Hundreds of bodyweight squats per session is normal. In Khabib Nurmagomedov's home village of Sildi, this kind of volume is built into training from a young age, under the methodology of his father Abdul Manap, the architect of the modern Dagestani fight camp. The purpose is conditioning. Fights are not won in the first minute. They are won when the other man's legs stop working and yours do not. Here's how to perform it. Stand with feet shoulder width apart. Drop into a full depth squat, hips below knee level, and stand back up. Maintain a consistent rhythm. Heels stay down, chest stays up. The goal is not maximum weight, the goal is volume. Prescription: start with 5 sets of 20, 2 to 3 times per week. Build over months to 5 sets of 50, then to 100 unbroken, then to several hundred across a session. This is the conditioning base. Without it, technique fades under fatigue, and in a fight, a hard climb, or a long day of physical work, the body that quits first loses. 5 exercises. No gym. Trained at a depth and frequency that almost nowhere else matches. That is why a Dagestani wrestler can control a heavier training partner. The exercises are not magic. They are just practiced for thousands of hours before anyone else has even started. The Dagestanis figured this out generations ago, and the rest of the world is still catching up.